Kathleen and Ellie each have quests for revenge. The Last of Us Foreshadows Season 2. Kathleen lived in Kansas City with her mother and her older brother, Michael. When they were children, Kathleen was fearful and would have nightmares. Michael would comfort her, teaching her to imagine their room was a box secure and safe from dangers in the outside world. Showrunner Craig Mazin alludes to this similarity on the Last of Us podcast. When discussing Kathleen's relationship with her brother, he explains her brother was her Joel. And her Joel died. And when her Joel died, she kinda lost it and needed to kill the people that killed her Joel. Without directly describing the events of The Last of Us Part 2 game, Mazin hints at them by saying that there might be a reason why this sounds familiar. It was the showrunner's intent to make the two characters a point of comparison. Between Kathleen's monologue and her fate at the end of this episode, Mazin and Neil Druckmann have crafted a thematic foundation for Ellie's story in the future, a clever tactic that will reinforce the message of the second game's narrative when it is incorporated into their adaptation. As Mazin explains in the companion podcast, I think it's important to show that when you are dead set on using violence to settle the score and win the day, you are going to probably get subsumed by that yourself. When discussing Perry, Mazin even alludes to Moby Dick while referencing the self-destructive power of revenge. He told her to run, and she couldn't help but chase the white whale to the very end. Kathleen's obsession with revenge prevented her from ensuring her own survival, and as a result, she is brutally killed, thereby failing to complete her revenge plot and allowing Henry and the others to get away. In 2004, Kathleen survived the cordyceps brain infection outbreak and lived in the Fedra-controlled quarantine zone in Kansas City. However, Kathleen grew angry with Fedra and the military's rule in the city. Her brother agreed that their oppression was unjust. She joined him in his attempts to fight against Fedra's totalitarian rule as part of an underground resistance movement. Kathleen was inspired by Michael's actions, especially his idyllic vision of a peaceful community in the post-apocalypse free from Fedra's control. However, Henry Burrell eventually collaborated with Fedra to have Michael arrested in return for treatment for his brother Sam Burrell. Kathleen was enraged by Henry's betrayal. She managed to visit Michael in a Fedra detention center. Finding him beaten and tortured, she professed her plan to have Henry killed as revenge for his actions harming Michael. Her brother, instead, begged her to forgive Henry, citing Fedra were the true criminals and allowing vengeance to consume her would prevent his peaceful vision from occurring. Soon after, Fedra tried and executed Michael. Giving in to rage, Kathleen rallied Michael's closest allies, notably Perry and his underground militia, to fight against Fedra in open warfare. By 2023, she was successful in driving Fedra from the zone, allowing her group to control the city with her as its leader. However, she took a ruthless position in the group, permitting and even promoting members to torture and mercilessly kill all known Fedra members and even collaborators in the city. These killings ranged from shooting to immolation and even public hangings. She also permitted Perry's militia to ambush and kill travelers who wandered into the city to steal their supplies. On the night after their successful victory, Kathleen turned the detention center into her own headquarters. Kathleen then turned her attention to finding and killing Henry. She had Perry capture the known Fedra collaborators and imprison them in the detention center. She then confronted and interrogated them about Henry's whereabouts. When the group remained silent, she ordered Perry to kill them all. This order prompted one member to confess that Dr. Edelstein was working with Henry. Kathleen admitted she believed the man, citing he was a rat. She then insisted Perry have the collaborators killed anyway and ordered a witch hunt commence to find Henry. In response to the riots in the streets, the ruthless resistance leader rounds up several survivors and berates them for betraying their neighbors to Fedra. After taunting them for a while, she orders them to give up Henry. When no one complies, she tells her right-hand man Perry and his troops to kill them. He's with Adelstein, one man whimpers in response. Adelstein was a collaborator? Well, he was a lot more discreet than you fucking idiots. Kathleen smirks back before turning to Perry and suggesting they'd burn the bodies as it's faster.